be straight and wide. I wish you streams and mountainsides, a swift and gentle horse to ride, and skies forever blue. May your grass be tall and green, a good old cowboy song to sing, a pretty fall and an early spring. That's my Christmas gift to you. I know it's Christmas time.
Welcome to episode 160 of Cowboy Shit. My name is Ted Stovin. He is Dustin Edwards, and it's the last show of 2023. We're launching ourselves into the next year, coming up here pretty quickly. What else, Dustin? We've got Christmas right around the corner. Well, I guess Christmas is already over. The show's coming out on the 27th. I always get mixed up with the dates on this sometimes.
That's like, but that's sort
Time
of
travel.
Christmas. It's that time of the year when you don't know what day it is, right? Like from Christmas till like January 1st, you have no idea what day it is. You just roll with it.
It's true. You're mostly in a sugar coma the entire time.
Yeah, it just is.
Don't take your sweatpants off very often.
And you have a lot of regrets on everything you ate.
What? Well, speaking of that, there's lots of Christmas baking around. I've got a caramel here that Ward made.
What's your go-to Christmas snack?
Oh, okay. We've had. I like the Lindt chocolates, milk chocolate, or basically anything but the dark chocolate. Not really a big fan of the dark chocolate Lindts. Well, they are good and they got less sugar, so that's probably I should like them more. I also like Scotch and tequila. Those are good Christmas Christmas treats.
Straight liquor.
These I've like Ward made these. It's just like a toffee or a caramel. I don't know how you'd call it, but it's soft. It's like mostly butter and brown sugar, I think, right?
Oh yeah, those are good. I love
big fan of those.
Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, I just had one of those earlier. It was on my desk. Just dusted it. Toffee, also great. What else am I missing? Turtles. Friggin' love turtles.
Turtles are big. I haven't seen as many turtles this year as normal.
Oh, I already bought a box of turtles and dusted them. Then there's like, what else is there? Also a big fan of butter tarts.
Oh, that's my go-to, butter tarts. Right? That's it.
Just love. I
could eat those things, and I love the Christmas oranges. You don't see them as much anymore. Like, remember getting like the box with the wrap.
Orange.
Well, no, like the actual.
Oh, the mandarin.
Like,
well, you're not talking candy anymore. You're talking an actual orange.
Yeah. Like, I haven't seen those anywhere where like they're like individually wrapped in paper in like a little box.
You haven't seen those? Have you not been to the grocery store, Dustin?
Not at my grocery store.
Really? The mandarin oranges, they're almost out all year now.
Oh shit! Well, I better get down there and start shopping.
It's got to improve. We're also big on shopping.
We're also big on the Advent calendars. So I've got two editions going. This year I've got the Kinder Surprise Advent, which you get the big Kinder egg on the last day, and then at my office we got like the cheapest Advent calendar with like a little square skinny chocolate that tastes like cardboard. Like, so I've got like kind of the elite calendar, and I've got the worst one you can get. So
really? One of each.
It's a nice balance.
Oh, that's fun, man. So with the Kinder Surprise, do you get like a new? Do you get like a new toy in every batch, like everything? Is that how it goes?
No, it's like Kinder candy. So like one day is a Kinder egg, like a small one. One's like a Kinder stick, but the last day is the big Kinder Surprise with the toy in it. So if I wait 25 days to get like a fucking puzzle, I'll be wild.
Oh man, I think some of those Christmas Advent calendars are pretty awesome. There's some that are wine now. There's some that are Scotch and bourbon. Like you can have like a different kind of booze every evening.
Yeah, there's a really cool Alberta craft beer one. So they have a different Alberta craft beer in every one. I've seen those at Costco. Those are pretty cool.
That's neat.
So however you do your Adventing, whether it be liquor or chocolate, your days have wound down at this point.
I'm never really ever around enough with the way that the NFR goes. My Advent calendar would be out of whack because I'd have to travel with it or something. Wouldn't fly.
Well, I do what is called time traveling. So, I just like sometimes I'll just eat like 4 or 5 days worth at once and time travel a bit. So
Oh, anyways, I'm a big fan of Christmas, of the Christmas baking, Christmas cooking, all that jazz. Big fan.
do you with New Year's coming up here in a couple of days, do you make New Year's resolutions, Ted? Are you one of those guys?
I was trying to think about what I've done in the past for that. And I was talking with Storm the other day actually, and I kind of wanted to get a few of the New Year's resolution-ish kind of things going before New Year's. I didn't really want to make it a New Year's thing and then bust it a couple days later. But what I usually do is redo my goals probably at the start of the year. So I don't know if that's a resolution per se or more so. I don't know if I've even done it lately in this book. I'd have to go back and look. But usually in these books that I keep track of each year, I usually write a new set of goals in them. But usually I just do it when I start a new book because these aren't really yearly books. Like this one started in, what's the date on it? This one started March March of 2022. So I've had it for like a year and a half and still haven't got all the way through it. But I can't say that I'm much of a New Year's resolution guy just because my schedule is so out of whack usually, you know? What about you?
Yeah. I always say I am every year, and then it's like the same. It's like, oh, I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to be more physical, blah, blah, blah. Then I don't.
And
So
you don't.
I've learned that lack of resolutions is better because I don't feel failed. So my resolution this year is to not make any resolutions.
I'm trying to look and see if I even did any goals in this one. I don't know if I even wrote anything down. Maybe that's why I've felt a little lost lately. I need to update the goals and what the heck the plan should be. Oh, here we are. I didn't do them till January 10th. So it was almost a year later until I did anything. That's
Hey,
only a little bit off.
goals, not to procrastinate goals.
Yeah. Oh, and I only did like 4 and that was it. Oh boy. Yeah, I've got some
Less is
work to
more.
do on the goals. Got a lot of work to do. But
Um,
a lot of mine end up being is make sure I do some sort of exercise every little while. Like we just did the Arizona run and part of it was golf, but everything down there, the courses are so spread out and they're all in the desert to where nobody nobody walks, I don't think. Like I think I saw people
uh,
walking on one deal, but it's flat, so it would be an easy walk, but I think they want you to take a cart most times, don't they, Dustin?
oh yeah, yeah. They want you cards so they can keep people moving and get more groups through.
More groups
So
too.
forget walking.
Yeah. But there's a lot of nice courses though. I got a lot of golf in too. I
Oh
met the
boy.
goal of getting 50 rounds in this year. That was nice. With tournaments, is quite a few more. So got lots of golf in.
Hey, you've accomplished the goal, Ted.
My pants still fit. That's a good thing too, right? Still on the 31
That's a win.
waist.
That's a win.
I remember the first time I got fitted pants that weren't like a 16. Like you remember how you used to go up with the ages? You were like an 8 regular
Yeah.
or an 8 relaxed or an 8 slim or whatever. Up till the 16s. I think I got out of the 16s and when I was like 14 and I had 28 32s or 34s or something. And my dad always used to make fun of me because my leg length was long. But my dad still wears flood pants. He only gets a short leg, and if he sits down, his pant legs are halfway up his boots. So you got to have the right boot cut, right?
You gotta have longer.
I've went up 3 inches since I was 14 in my waist. So I feel like I'm doing okay so far. But I wear a lot more stretchy pants now, so it's probably false
Well,
sense
some people
of
have
waist.
grown double digits since they were 16, so three's not bad.
What? Well, I do have one belt that makes me feel a little fat because I'm on the last belt loop now. Western belt. I got it in 2011, so
That's
that's
good
12
tenure.
years.
That's good
But I
tenure.
almost got to punch another hole in that one to let her out a little bit. So, but that on the other side, though, my golf belt is on the smallest hole. So I don't know if one belt has shrunk, and another one has kind of relaxed a bit, so he stretched. I'm not sure, Dustin.
Whatever makes you feel good. You decide.
What uh what do you want to accomplish in 2024, Dustin?
Oh, I haven't delved too far into it. It's been a bit of a transition year, but I think I would imagine by the end of the year or start of next, we'll be planning a wedding with Allie. So
Oh yeah,
that'll
I got to
probably
do
be
that
something
too.
that'll be yeah. So that'll be in the cards, and just one thing I want to prioritize in 2024 was just a little more time in the summers doing things I enjoy. I kind of got away from like playing golf and going to the lake and doing that kind of stuff. So opening up a few more weekends to go enjoy life a little bit more.
Well, I'm with you on that. I got to work on that myself too, but I guess more of my golf this year happened outside of the summer months, and it was in warm places and times I could get away. Um, but I'm with you. I got what you mean on that.
Just get so goddamn caught up in the rat race of having to say yes to everything and go everywhere and be everywhere. And then all
Yeah,
of a sudden it's October and
it's
all
cold
we did
outside.
was all we did was hop from town to town trying to collect a paycheck at rodeos
Yeah, and
and
no
it's a
offense
great
to
life.
those
No,
rodeos.
it's no, totally. It's a great life. I love doing it, but guys got to find a little bit of a balance. So that's probably one of my big goals this year is how I can do both and feel good about both.
Well, and I don't know where I heard it or what it come from, but I think somebody was telling me about how they maybe worked on upping their rates a little bit and kind of like I don't know if it was seeing what the market bared. I don't really want to say that that was what it was, but they were kind of like they upped their rates to the point where they were getting paid the same as they were getting paid the same rate in one weekend as they would in two weekends before. So they kind of escalated things, and it's happened with you. Like you went from a certain rate, and I went from a certain rate where I used to have to work for 3 weekends at three different bull riding events to get that rate. And now it's like a 2 day rodeo or a 3 day rodeo is the same rate kind of thing, right? Or a 1 day higher level event. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
I don't want to beat myself up as bad on the road, which we're really not. But going flying across the country and back a bunch is it's a little less fun to do. But I also got to know that I don't have to be everywhere all at the same time.
yeah, that's kind of it, right? It's just prioritizing the time versus the money and lifestyle. So yeah, you're right. It's like I can go do one rodeo that pays me as much I used to get for doing two or three small bull ridings and driving all over the countryside. So
Yeah,
I tend to focus now mostly on just rodeos for that reason. So, if I'm going to give up a Saturday anyways, because I'm driving on Friday and driving Sunday for one night, I might as well do Friday, Saturday, Sunday of a rodeo somewhere and then be able to take the next weekend off,
yeah, yeah. I'm with you.
so.
I'm with you. I gotta train the crew to make it work. Like I was really happy to have Cole along this year, and Matt did an awesome job too. We had a fun summer that way. We had a good crew. Steve helped us out as well, and yeah, I think Dave was at another show as well. So it's gonna be should be a fun summer again, and fun year too. We got a few things kind of on the go, working on a few different contracts, but yeah, and then doing the cowboy shit stuff too, doing the clothing side of things. It's kind of a whole another deal, but it's good. Things are rocking. We'll
Gonna be a big 2024. We should have
yeah
some fun, exciting guests on the show this year,
yeah.
and
Well, and speaking of that, we've got a little kind of a recap of 2023. We got a little top five list. But speaking of those guests, we got a couple we're in the works with right now. I did. I do think I still haven't heard back from Cody Johnson's agent, but working on that. I'll keep working on that. I'll check. I'll follow in again maybe after Christmas. But Dustin, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm gonna go do a show with Troy Dunn next week. So the day after this one comes out, we're gonna do a show with Troy Dunn as well, another world champion from Australia. The only other one that is in existence, and the only other one that there was only one before this year too. So
yeah, pretty
hopefully,
cool.
yeah, looking forward to having a show there. I got to go to Brooks. I don't think you can make it over there. You got something on the night of the 28th, anyways. But anyways, gonna go do that, and then yeah, we're working on another show with somebody who's high up with the Cowboy Channel that is maybe doing some different stuff. We're still finalizing that, but working on that show. But yeah, let us know who you guys want to hear from as well, and let us know your favorite Christmas treats. I always want to hear back from people out there. But Dustin, let's get into this top 5. What do you think?
Yeah, let's talk about it. There's some cool moments from this past year, and there's probably still a ton that we've omitted, but these are the ones that we kind of dialed in on, and probably a bunch are more recent, but still great accomplishments to wrap up the year.
Well, and one other thing I got thinking of too is our top shows of 2023. We should kind of do a little rundown on some of the top downloaded shows this season too, Dustin.
Yeah.
But
hit 500,000 this year, so that was exciting.
500,000 downloads. But I was looking at this list the other day actually, and I think it's kind of funny because looking at the statistics, we had a 8.3% increase in downloads with a few days left to go this season. Our audience 50.73% Canadian, 45.9% American. I think last year it was more American than Canadian, but kind of interesting. So our top 10, or let's just do top 10 shows for the year.
Yeah.
So number 10 was episode 137 with West Desperado, Shaylee Ham. Number 9 was number 143 with Nansen Vold. Number 8, Bo Cooper, episode 148. Number 7 was our buddy Dennis Halstead, but from back in May. Number 6 was Ben Anderson. Number 5 was Nick Tetz. Number 4 was the top 10 bull riders of all time. And then we're getting into our top 3. Number 3 was the Bachelorette episode with our friend Cassie Hausauer. Yeah. Number 2, as far as downloads go on the year, was Jill Barron, number 138 from back in March. But we've got a bit of a curveball here, Dustin. What do you think number 1 would be for the year in 2023 download wise?
I have no idea, Ted.
No idea? It's a bit of a curveball. It's actually from 2021. It's number 107, JB Mooney. So our top show of 2023 is actually from 2 years ago. Talking to JB Mooney, just the star power on that guy.
There you go. JB's getting the
still number trophy. 1. That's kind of wild, isn't it?
We'll send him a mug.
Send him a mug. Yeah, I don't have any mugs. I gotta probably go back and get some more made. But let's do our top 5 for this year, Dustin. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about our top 5 moments. And
okay, I'll start us off. Number 5, our top 5 moment of 2023. It's going to be Dakota Butter winning the $100,000 PBR Canada champion bonus for the first time this year. Dakota wins the PBR Canada title. Well, he wins it for the second time, but first time ever for $100,000 bonus. So he actually did he broke his collarbone on the last ride, didn't he, Dustin?
Yeah, did you see? I thought I seen Kobe post a picture of him like holding up his buckle, his like shirt all like ripped up and beat up. He got stepped on and beat up at the end, but still got the $100,000. So that was a cool moment because he came in injured, left injured, but left with the $100,000. So that's true cowboy shit right there. That was pretty cool for him to see him accomplish that.
Happy for Dakota. And I also got to say, I really enjoy playing Call of Duty with Dakota and a few of the crew. Brock Radford's on there once in a while. Covey Moore, Jake Gardner. There's probably lots more guys on there, but I've played a couple games with those guys when I've been home here and there, and really, it's a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. Chad Hartman too. So at least 3 or 4 of the PBR Canada finalists from this year are big Call of Duty guys. It's a lot of fun. Big gamers. So yeah, Dakota though, congrats to him on that 100,000. It's number 5. Dustin, you want to go to number 4?
I can't remember the orders, Ted. So you better
remember the order. Okay, I got it written down here. Okay, number 4. I've got Kai Hamilton winning the PRCA world title in the bull riding. We could kind of make this one of the entire PRCA, kind of all the world champions. I still got to figure out. I kind of got word of Tyler Wagaspack had some beef with somebody. Did you watch that on the 10th night? I don't know what he was saying. I got to get to the bottom of this.
They put the camera on him, and he was pretty animated. And I wasn't sure what was going on there, but there was definitely some drama going on, and I never did hear what it was. So
yeah. Anyways, but I want to talk about Kai Hamilton because I still got to listen to some more on what happened. But the story was that Kai originally he had a concussion. I think the first report was that he had a concussion. I could look back at some of the info, but then once he rode the next morning, or once I don't know what the whole deal was, but he kind of went from having a concussion to not having a concussion. He got knocked out based on getting hit in the chest. But he rides the next morning after getting knocked out, and then rides 2 bulls the next day. That would be round 6 and 7. Gets knocked out in round 5. rides in 6 and 7, wins all the money the night around 7, and I was actually in the building. And I would have been must have been round 8,
8.
maybe 8. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sorry, it was Canadian. It was a Canadian night because I remember being there. It was it was the only perf that I actually sat in a seat for. I mean, I watched the bull riding. The only thing I watched all NFR from a seat was the bull riding in round 8, and it was a round that Kai was the only guy to ride.
And then round 9, he gets a re-ride, but gets hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't ride in
So
round 10.
no, he got on his re-ride bull
Oh
from
yeah,
round 9 to
to
start
start the
round
perf.
10
Yeah.
and got hurt. Took a shot in that bull in round 10, his round 9 bull re-ride, and
Mm-hmm.
then couldn't get on his 10th bull that same night because he was hurt.
But still wins the average, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
world title. But I don't know if he even needed to ride those other bulls. But anyways, I think it's a big moment because the entire crowd, like I think, and from I've only asked a couple people, but and I've done a quick search, but I think that I know you can pass out from what's the astronaut thing where you're getting whipped around a bunch, the like G-force
Oh
simulator
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can lose consciousness from that.
From that, which I don't think is technically a brain injury, right? That's more of a like that's not
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a brain injury. That'd be something else, right?
it's like I don't know if it's like lack of oxygen to your brain because you're going too
Right?
fast or what, but
And so
I'm no
maybe
MD.
so maybe that's what happened with Kai. I don't know. Like I don't want to say he had a concussion, but it seemed really weird for him to be knocked out and look like he took a nasty shot and then get on and ride again. So
Well, there was
um
there was there was I don't know if you know medical doctor Donnie Gay, but his his classification of the injury was he got the dog shit knocked out of him. So that was his diagnosis, which was pretty
yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Oh man, I think Donnie was pretty worked up about that one. That's kind of funny.
Yeah,
But what am I trying to
I
get
don't
at?
know. It
But
was
I
it was it
just
was regardless. He shouldn't have been getting on at 11 a.m. the very next morning after spending the night in the
prob
hospital and
probably not.
being put up on a pedestal for doing so. That
Yeah,
was
he
the
was the
disappointing
hero.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, you can't be a puss and like and whatnot, and bull riding as it's on its own is crazy, and it's on the biggest stage. So there was kind of I think that there was an opportunity to make a point about, hey, no, I have a head injury, and maybe he didn't, but it really looked like he might have. You know what I mean? So
Well, it'd
maybe
be
I'm
different if
speculating it wrong.
be different if he was in a race. He already had the title the night he won.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know he won the 100,000 again after the injury and whatever, but he still would have won it without that 100, I think, right? So
It might have been close. And Sage was on a bit of a run there for a while, but he won with 595, and Josh Frost was second with 400. So
yeah,
he wanted to close it out and get the buckle, but I think it could have been a pretty big opportunity to make a stand on concussions and the brain injury side of things if he were to have not got on. One of the biggest issues still is that the competition side of things and the organizations can't take a contestant out of competition. The rules aren't set up for it. The doctors and the sports medicine team, they can't actually take anybody out of competition. So there's still the fact that it's the
it
the
needs to be like
decision.
hockey, where
Yeah, they're
there's a
taken out.
concussion spotter that removes them out. They have no say, regardless,
And maybe
and
he
that's
would
what it
have
needs to be.
passed. Maybe he would have passed the test and the concussion protocol. Um, Maybe that would have all been fine. I'm just looking at it further down the road. Like, I hope nothing. I hope I hope he's all right down the road because I think he's possibly was flirting with danger. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe the chest thing is what truly happened, and maybe this is all speculation. But I think that we could still. I think there's still work to do, and I agree with you on the hockey side of things, Dustin. I agree with that. My counter argument there, though, is that these guys aren't paid a guaranteed salary and they have to win. As you know, like they got to win to make their money.
Yeah, but if your point is that people with head injuries shouldn't ride, then that shouldn't be the counter to the argument, right? Like it's either
Yeah.
they should ride or they shouldn't, regardless whether they're paid or not, right? So
Yeah.
you have to be on. I think you have to have a clear definition of like you're you're either pro someone allows them to get on or they don't, or they can choose for themselves. I don't think there's. It's
One or the
tough for
other.
me to go back to the argument of like, well, it's not guaranteed money. Well,
Too bad.
I get it, but what are
Yeah.
you? Are you an advocate for the brain injury in the long term? Or are you an advocate for making the money when it works and saying they can't ride when it doesn't? So I think you got to be one on one side of it or the other, right? So
Yeah, true. True. So either way, huge for Kyle to win the world title. He wins with the most money ever in a regular season in the bull riding side of things, almost $600,000, which is unbelievable. Stetson Wright, a big part of the story this year too, not having getting out of competition in round number 2, but congrats to Kyle winning the world title. I think there was a big opportunity there though to possibly look after things that way, and I hope that it was not a concussion that night, and I hope Kai does really well moving forward and into the future too. So still
yeah,
though I was
number
worried
4.
and I had a sick feeling though, like I was one of the people in the building and everyone was cheering super loud, and the announcer set it up like he was you know unconscious the night before, and tonight he wins $100,000 and everybody's on their feet and he's only ride, and the entire crowd is making a hero out of him. And I just hope that, like, I just don't want that, getting on a bull after being concussed to be the model for everyone. And, go on the other side of it, for him to ride in a hat all week is, one of the only guys to ride in a hat's kind of wild too. But Kendra
Yeah,
Santos wrote a story about how she mentioned the thing where he got knocked out about the chest, and, maybe that's true. I don't know. It sounds like that's the story at this point. But she mentioned that after talking with JB that the helmet was thrown off Kai's weight balance, it was thrown off his balance, which kind of makes some of that I believe makes sense in some fronts, but and I don't think a helmet helps on the concussion front, really, does it, Dustin?
no, if you can get knocked out in a helmet,
But
um,
but just with the concussion side of things, like a concussion is your brain splattering
takes a
around in your
yeah,
head,
guys.
anyways.
Football players and hockey players get hit in the head, get concussed all the time.
Yeah,
It's more like you go head to head with a bull, you're going to get concussed, but you're not replacing your orbital bones on a weekly basis and getting
yeah,
facial reconstruction surgery. So, I mean, it does help, but I mean, I'll still never forget when we saw Ty get a shot in the PBR finals in 14, and he was wearing a
yeah.
hockey helmet and
Saskatoon
just freaking bull hit right on
demolished
top
it.
and just demolished it. Right. So, um,
Yeah.
it's a layer of protection, but it's not protection. It
Well,
doesn't protect you from it.
and I think that some of the times when I was competing, I felt like I was invincible when I had a helmet on and some of my gear on. Like, I don't think that's a safe. It doesn't make anybody safer to wear a helmet as far as the injuries that could still happen. I mean, I got stepped on in the head for sure one time, and it would have been nasty to not have the helmet on. But I also think that not having a helmet on, people are gonna maybe protect themselves and protect their head a bit more at times. So I get the argument, and I'm not going to advocate saying one way or another you got to wear a helmet or got to wear a hat or whatnot. But I don't know what my point was with that. Anyways, Dustin, I don't know where we're going with that.
Well, he still makes number 4. He's the world champ,
True.
and hopefully there's no lasting effects from what we've seen in that round.
Yeah, and hopefully people still, after all the work we've done with the Ty Posbon Foundation, I just want to I wanted to visit the topic a little bit and just make sure that it's still at the front of everyone's mind. And, I know Leanne Posbon made a big post about it, and I just wanted to bring it up. So congrats to Kai, though. Looking forward to talking to Troy Dunn here next week as well. And gonna take us down number 3. What do you think? Keep moving?
Let's do it. Keep doing it.
Okay, number 3 on our list of the top 5 moments of 2023 is going to be Bo Cooper's redemption at the Calgary Stampede. Now, Bo Cooper had a judge call where the barrier malfunctioned at Rodeo Houston. He should have won the $50,000 in Houston, but he didn't. He ended up being disqualified or had a broken barrier that day, didn't he?
Yeah, they called him on the barrier. Yeah.
Barrier. So +10, doesn't win in Houston. It was a total judgment call gone wrong. No replay still, which is crazy. The WCRA, the CPRA, the IPRA all have instant replay at some of the major events, but still nothing in the PRC or at the NFR. But Bo Cooper redeems himself, winning the $50,000 at the Calgary Stampede, and I would hope on the Calgary Stampede side of things, it's a challenge that we get that $100,000 back for the champions at the Calgary Stampede. Hopefully this year, I would expect. I hope so. I expected it last year, but hopefully we get it back soon.
Yeah, that would be good. And it was good to see Bo redeem himself. And it was cool. He told this story about he bought the calf that he lost Houston on, or technically won Houston on. And I think he said the ear tag was minus 50,000. And then he bought the calf he won Calgary on, and he put the ear tag as plus 50,000. So it was a pretty cool story. He had a tough NFR. He got a paycheck in the last round. He had a good run. He was like 7-4, I think it was. And it was cool because I was thinking back, every year that Zeke has won a world title, they've had a world champion party for him at the Big Valley Bar. And I've emceed it a couple of years, and we go up and have some fun. And last year, Zeke won it, so we were having the party in December. And Bo, obviously their first cousins, was there with his family. And I remember chatting with Bo at the party in December and asking him what his year was going to look like. And he said, I want to go down south again and, try and make a run at it. And now it's pretty cool because this year the party is in honor of Zeke and Bo. So he went from being a guest at the party, and a year later now he's one of the guests of honors. So pretty cool to see his year shape up. And he was a great guest on the show that we had him on.
And we talked to, I was walking through Cowboy Christmas and just happened to bump into him. And I was talking to him and I said, hey, man, like, I know it's been shit, but it's just going to be all that much more sweeter when it does come around, and that's one of the things he mentioned. He said it was pretty sweet to get that check in the last round. And I think if I read right, he was riding Peso of Logan Birds too, right? Yeah, the last 3 rounds, right?
He switched to Peso the last few rounds. Actually, a bunch of guys did. I think they started just one guy was riding Peso, and I think by the end there was 3 or 4. Shane was riding him, Logan was riding him. There was a few guys getting on him, so it was pretty cool to see him get a check on a Canadian horse and a good 3rd place check, and I got to come home with some money.
I wonder when the last time a check in the tie-down roping at the NFR was won on a Canadian horse. I wonder if Marty Becker's horse was Canadian, or I wonder how far back you'd have to go.
What one by a Canadian on a Canadian horse?
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if those guys would have been riding American horses back in the day. It's probably been 2 decades since that's happened. Maybe more. Well, it's probably been more.
Bo was the last guy to go there since Marty, right? So
in '96, I think it was, or 01.
I would imagine when Joe was going, he would have had his own horsepower.
Canadian horse, I would think, eh?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, though. I wonder about that.
They've won a lot on Canadian horses thanks to the Bird family, but
Canadian
true. Canadian on Canadian hasn't happened for a while. I think when Shane won the world title, he was riding TJ.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So.
But interesting though, I wonder about that. For any of our tie-down roping enthusiasts that the few that are fans of the show and avid listeners might have to help us out on that. I'm about to ask Maynard and Logan about that one though.
Well, between
Bo
taking his horse, which I think is the horse he got from Zeke, which is kind of cool, and then Logan's horse there, Peso, and then Eddie and
Curtis Cassidy's horse.
Yeah, Tyson. There was 4 horses there in the timed event side, plus hazing horses too. So probably, and Jerry Bueller. I guess he would have won on a Canadian horse when he won the world title, but
maybe not. One. I wonder. Maybe he bought a horse out of the U.S. though. Tough to
I think
say.
It was a Canadian horse. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
anyways, it's kind of interesting on the timed event side.
Lots of good representation. We always brag on all the rough stock in Canada that goes, but a lot of Canadian talented there in the equine side of things. And Tyler Kraft was riding his horse. That was horse of the world. Shelby Beaujolais, had her horse, which was horse of the world. So shit, good work timed event, people.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and probably Kendall Pearson as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think she was riding her gray. I could be wrong, but she great horsepower down there. So
What about Stephen Culling? What does he ride? Or does he ride?
he was riding Eddie, I think.
Okay.
Milan's horse. Yeah.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of interesting stuff on that side of it. Did you know that even the hazers wear back numbers out there? They just haven't
Yeah, it's pretty
all
cool.
past the other numbers. Yeah, kind of wild, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Curtis was down there hazing, and so was Tanner. So
yeah, pretty cool. Good to see the Canadian horsepower kicking butt down that way.
Yeah.
Dustin, do you want to go on to number 2? Should we keep on with this list?
Yeah. Let's stay on the theme of world champions. Number 2, we're gonna go to Shelby Bosley winning the world title. I don't know if we want to check tape. I don't know if we want to check tape, but my bold prediction for NFR was Shelby and Zeke win the world title. So
Ooh,
Shelby,
well done.
Shelby got it done. Horse of the year, pretty wild. 5 rounds a day for 2 days. They go through 10 rounds over 2 days at the South Point, and she was outstanding. Gets the world title win. It's cool to see her get the saddle and the buckle on the stage at the end, and pretty exciting for her. Pretty exciting for Canada.
I was remembering when I went to school in New Mexico, they used to have the steer roping world finals, and I'd never seen it before until that day at the world finals. And I think Trevor Brazil was the first one out, and he just goes and ropes and busts the steer down. But that was in Hobbs, New Mexico, and the format was the same actually. So it was 5 rounds a day for 2 days, and it was probably like a couple hours worth of 2 rounds at 15 guys would be. Well, I guess 5x5 is 75, so that's a lot of action over a performance. But yeah, even the girls were doing their victory laps there after every round too, which was kind of cool. But yeah, pretty awesome for Shelby to get that gold buckle, and only in what is that, the 3rd year that we've had breakaway at this world, like the high level.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to see it in Vegas. It was funny to see all the signs going up about we want breakaway, and I think I'm guessing it's probably a matter of time before we see it in the Thomas and Mack as part of the NFR. I would guess, but it was great to see, but it was tough to watch them announce her as the winner that day and her walk out, and there be a third of that South Point building with people in it. That part feels underwhelming, but it's still the buckle, the saddle, it's the same as the rest of them, so it's pretty cool. She's going to be in the history book. So.
Well, and I gotta say, I might be screwed up somewhere too, because she's actually Shelby Medjed at points now too, depending on where it's written and how it is. But I just saw her on Facebook the other day. It's actually Shelby Medjed. So
yeah,
so
she was a hyphenate for like the last bit of the rodeo season. I've seen Medjed Bosley and then Medjed. So we'll have to find out how she enters the rodeo history books. Season. What name they put in as the world champion.
It's not like either one of them is that easy to say until you kind of know what they are, right?
her husband won the average in the
and set a new arena record. 6-4, wasn't it? And the next guy out, Chad Mayfield, was 6-1.
The calf got up. Yeah,
unbelievable. It's funny. I saw Shad on the hotel on the elevator on the ride up to the room after that night. And I was like, man, tough luck. And he just seems so kind of bashful. He's like, oh, it was kind of neat to see those guys down there though, and see, Stephen Culling had a great finals. And man, I got to give a shout out to Jared Parsons too. Totally redeems himself this year after the first year, didn't have much luck, but won over $100,000 at the finals this time. Got a good check in the average.
Like almost 200,000 Canadian, I think, or just shy of is what he'll take home. That's huge.
Yeah. And he rides 5 of 10, I think, at the finals. Aren't those the right numbers? Yeah. And then Jordan has a decent finals as well. The bronc riding side of things, kind of only Zeke really had the great finals. It was a little weak. Just the other part of the crew didn't have as great of a finals as they have in the past, but still a solid year. And Jeremy was right in there a little at different times, and I think he had a great finals as well. But yeah, Jared, I'm really happy for Jared to do well there, and probably buying a bunch more cows now, I think, or buying. I
would think, and Stephen Culling placed in like 7 or 8 rounds too, so he was really good this week.
Consistent, had a good week.
Yeah.
So.
I think he had the
So
most fifth place finishes of everyone in the Bulldogging, but
yeah,
it sure all added up. It sure all added up for him in the end, right?
right, yeah. So yeah, great NFR for most of the crew, but our number one moment of the year is here, Dustin. This guy had a better year than anybody else.
Yeah, this is a
Well,
real shocker. Hold on to your hats here, folks. Zeke Thurston, four-time world champion. He just owns the Thomas and Mack. Like, he rides to another level. He's just a machine in there, and he won a shit ton of money again. And the Big Valley economy will be injected with the Thurston cash at the Big Valley Inn next week. So pretty cool to see him win his fourth world title. He had been on a spell of doing it every third year, but that ended.
and he joined some pretty elite company with winning the world title this year. I'm just going back to find the stats here, but he won, what did he win? Won 4 rounds, round 1, 5, 8, and 9, and placed in 8 of 10 rounds. I don't think he's had a new average record, but he won like, his average was like 860 something on point, like 86 points for 10 rounds in a row. Isn't that unreal? 863.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just does not stub his toe. You know what I mean? And when you get into those rounds where you got eliminators and some of those horses that are just hard to ride, he just never faults. And that's been the difference between every one of his world titles. And there's some guys that stay on, guys that can ride their horses, but he just goes out and gives it to every horse, no matter how good or ranked they are, and makes the same ride. And I remember like guys like Rod Warren. I think Rod won like 2 average titles in a row, never bucked off a horse for like 3 or 4 years. But the difference is when you get on those rank bucking horses, Zeke lets it all hang out. He makes big points, wins the rounds in the eliminator pens, TV pen, whatever it is, hopper pen. They're all good for him. That's why he's the world champ 4th time, and that's what separates him from a lot of those guys.
He looks so strong in the saddle. Like it doesn't look like he hardly
Yeah.
moves when he's riding and
And
spurring those broncs, eh?
And I don't know what it is. It's funny when you hear Butch on the Cowboy Channel talk about guys getting their chin snapped back and they get out of control. Sometimes Zeke like gets far back and his head snapping, but he makes it look really flashy, like it's not an out of control manner. And he's so aggressive with his spurring, and he lets it all hang out no matter what. It's just a style it's fun to watch. And then he makes a lot of horses where he probably gets himself a couple points just by being that flashy and that good to watch.
And turn his toes out.
He's nobody spurs and rides as good as him. Obviously, the Buckles have told us that story.
So we did the list of the top bronc riders ever from Canada. And I think Zeke was 7th or 8th on the list last time we did it. But number 1 at the time was, I think, still Rod Hay, which is kind of based on our points. The points isn't that I make up. Rod's been in the NFR 20 times. I think Zeke's been 9 times now. But yeah. I think it's tough to argue that he couldn't be first on our list of top Canadians at this point. How do you not?
Well, yeah, and Zeke's 29. So
that's it, eh?
He'll turn 30 this year. And I think he's still got a lot. I mean, he's obviously got a lot more years left in him. I even think back to some of the years he didn't win the world, where he was either close or was in the driver's seat. The one year he got really sick. Like, man, he's been so good for so long, and to say 5 or 6 is out of the question, I think would be a lie. So,
well, and just talking about those numbers, Thurston joins Brad Germanson, Clint Johnson, and Pete Knight with 4 world championships. So those guys all have 4. Clint Johnson, of course, Janie Johnson from the Cowboy Channel, her dad. Pete Knight,
yep.
Born in the U.S., but spent a lot of time in Canada. So when we did our list, we didn't technically have him as a Canadian, but still 4-time world champion. As far as my numbers go, and Billy Melville has Smokey Snyder down as a Canadian too. And I don't know enough about the 1920s and 30s to know what's right or wrong there, but Smokey Snyder has 5 world titles and may or may not be Canadian. I don't know what the official side of that things are, but Marty Wood was previously 3-time world champion as well. So as far as Canadians go, I think Zeke's got, he's got more than anybody now at 4, but only Dan Mortensen and Casey Tibbs with 6 and Billy Etbauer with 5 have more bronc riding world championships. So Zeke's in pretty elite company at this point. And I think if you put Dan, Casey Tibbs, Billy Etbauer, Brad Jermonson, Clint Johnson, Pete Knight, I really only saw 4 of the 6 there ride, but I think that Zeke, a shootout between Zeke and Billy and Dan and Clint and all these guys, like I think Zeke's taking it.
If they all had to get on explosive skies.
Yeah, or Cool Alley. Like, could you imagine Zeke on Cool Alley? Like, that'd be like 97 points.
I don't know. I'm biased because Zeke's from, I watched him grow up and we're from the same town and he's a cool kid, but I wasn't around back then. And it's always the argument of, back in those days, but Zeke's a machine, man. He's the best there is. And I think he'll go down as probably the greatest bronc rider of all time. And I think 100% think he's going to tie Billy Etbauer. I think he's going to get 5 and
I think
he
could
get
6 and beat Dan and Casey Tibbs too. Like, I think he could. The only thing that I wonder about, and I've seen this with a few different people, like Silvano Alves is still competing, but hasn't been at the world title levels in like a decade now, I think, right? Didn't he win his last one in 12 or was it 14?
Yeah, it was
the numbers.
It was 3 close, right? 3 in 4 or 5 years, right?
Right? Yeah, I think he won in 10, 11, 14 or something.
Yeah, so Zeke could keep making the NFR till he's 40, but when does he start losing the world contender status,
right? And when does he retire? Like, maybe he quits before. Maybe he doesn't go to 20 NFRs. Maybe he goes to 12 and calls it good. Maybe he's only got 3 more in him. Who knows?
Yeah, we've seen like in recent years, you've seen like Cody Wright and Cody Demos and those guys keep going in their later years, but they're still making NFRs and making money. They're just not contending for the world title. And I'll tell you what, in the saddle bronc riding is not an easy world title to get when you're battling against the guys that are riding right now. So it's not a gimme.
Absolutely. So interesting though, man. I'm intrigued by the greatest of all time talk and how that word gets thrown around a little bit too much. I think right now, I think there's a bit too much of that where, somebody who doesn't have the accolades and the accomplishments maybe gets those titles sometimes. But it's interesting to have the conversations and see where things stack up.
Zeke added a 4th Canadian title this year too. So
true.
Another Canadian title, another world title, 4, 3 Calgarys. I mean, it's pretty damn impressive what he's done and
100%
and continues to do and continues, touch wood, to be a guy who's remained pretty healthy and pretty injury free for the most part.
Yeah. And had his share of a few different things, but I don't know. I've never asked him about his like fitness side of things, but that guy's in impressively good shape and I'm assuming probably rides a bunch at home and is always doing something. Like he's not
he's an active guy.
Yeah, he's doing stuff. So congrats to Zeke on the 4th world title, number 1 on our list this year, the top 5 moments of 2023. Let us know what your top 5 are. Give us a little feedback on what you think. But Zeke, he also shattered his earnings, like single season earnings mark, won $456,000 on the year. Last year, or the previous mark was $399,000. So humongous year to be a bronc rider, win almost $500,000. You add in a few other spots, like maybe some open rodeos, and at CFR money doesn't count there. He's won over $500,000 in a year in one season as a bronc rider, like the best season ever.
Big money for him, and it's game changing for your life.
100%, and for the Big Valley economy, right, Dustin?
That's right. He's joining the elite in Big Valley out in the West Hills with Barney Creech and the Scottapoles and the whole crew out there. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see. And he stays humble through it all too. That's one thing I always love about Zeke.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Dustin, what else do we have here? I got about another 8 minutes.
We talked Christmas snacks. We talked NFR. We talked the top 5 moments of the year, the top podcasts. I don't know, man. It was a heck of a good year, heck of a fun year. It's good to see all our friends and families and rodeo people and outside rodeo, everybody just had a good year. It was
I think so.
We got off a couple of years of crap and ups and downs to just a really solid year. I thought 2023 was one for the books, man.
I'm with you. And thanks for joining me on the show, Dustin. I appreciate you doing the podcast with me and being part of it. Thanks for making it work.
Well, it's a blast. Love doing it.
Well, I've got one more story for you before we shut her down. I better talk about this one golf story from the Hall of Fame tournament.
Love to hear it.
Okay, so playing with the Montana Silversmith crew at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame tournament, there's a guy on our team who got hooked up with the Montana team through Las Vegas events, through people he knows over there. But I just thought it was a funny story because he's a member at a golf course, and his name is Richard Purvis. So his nickname with the crew is Perv. This is the last name Purvis, right? So they call him Perv, P-U-R-V. And first name is Richard, and we all know what that is short for. So he's a member at a golf course. And his member card on his golf bag is it's Dick Perv. So that's my childish humor for the day. He wasn't even embarrassed by it. He's like, yeah, I got a buddy that it's kind of funny. He put that on my golf bag tag.
And all of us grown men who see it just giggle.
Right?
Because we can't not giggle at something that has the word dick and perv in it.
Is there what else would be a good one to put on there? I'm just trying to think of like what else could be like that one's gotta be pretty near the top of absurd golf name tags. Like the only other one I could think of is like Harry Balderson or somebody, or like what, or like maybe like Harry Dick. Maybe there's a Harry Dick up there. Like what else could you come up with that's worse than Dick Perv?
Well, there's Richard Dick. So you Dick. Oh, this thing's gone off the rails. What a way to end it.
Dick humor. Gotta love Dick humor, right? Oh fuck. Okay. Well, if you haven't got if you need some Boxing Day cheer, make sure to check out cowboyshit.ca. We've still got some stuff in stock if you need to get one of those orders in. We've got some new stuff coming for the new year. We'll be in Dallas here, I guess, right around when the next show will be coming out. But Dustin, thanks for a great 2023, and we're on to I think we forgot to mention it last time, but we're already on the 7th season of the podcast. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Dustin for doing this. Sean Morton, thank you for editing the show every time, making us sound great. And Storm Defoe, we're gonna get married to her this year or next year too. So appreciate all your work on that. I said
where?
Maybe,
you said where?
Dustin and I are both gonna get hitched this year apparently. So maybe a joint wedding, the cowboy shit wedding of Dustin, Allie, Ted, and Storm.
Episode 194.
We'll see. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
On. I'm coming heavy with the fights on. I'm hunting, till you're gone. Save your last breath, 'cause you don't need it. Devil's gonna grab what he pleases. Your time has come. When no one can save you, you better run.